Hello and welcome to CFSS TV. I'm Ron Weber with Mohammed Fahim and Bob Johnson. Today's topic is going to be interviewing. Let's talk about the interview, Mohammed. Is it important to prepare answers for potential questions before you go to the interview?
That goes without saying. But having said that, I really want you to understand, guys, that there are no right or wrong answers in most of the interviews. Don't freak out about the answers.
Okay.
The practice is more important. So you have to really practice your answers to potential scenarios, not just questions, because they're not going to just throw a yes or a no question at you, right?
Correct.
So yeah, you have to be prepared, but a little later on I want to talk about what makes the hiring decision in an interview, and that is going to really surprise you. Okay? So yeah, be prepared goes without saying.
So what makes the hiring decision?
Oh boy. Okay. Bob jumps right into that. What makes the hiring decision?
Right.
Okay, here's what research is telling us. 3 things make the hiring decision. One is body language. The second is going to be intonation. How do you sound? Do you sound prepared? Do you sound sincere or not? That comes to your question about, should we be preparing for interviews?
Right.
And then comes the answers. So if you look at the sequence that I have laid out, body language is first. In fact, 54% of the hiring decision is based on body language. 29% is intonation. How do you sound? I mean, the employer is trying to get a feel for you as a potential team person, teammate for quite some time going forward. Would I feel comfortable running into, Ron Weber or Bob Johnson on a day-to-day basis? The body chemistry is going to be extremely important, and that comes from practice also. So answers typically make up only 7% of the hiring decision. Folks, please understand, when you get the call for the interview, the systems, the applicant tracking systems, have already identified you as a potential match for that position. Okay? So from that point on, it is the human factor that kicks in.
Right.
A lot of it is subconscious also, and they're not going to say that, hey, your body language is not my body language. And by the way, remember the old things that people used to teach? You need to mimic the,
Right. Do you still do that or
Please
not?
don't.
No. Okay.
Please don't, okay? I mean, that is so old school. I mean, you're sitting like that, Bob, and if I'm sitting like this and I'm answering your question, subconsciously you're going to start looking at how I'm sitting, how I'm trying to mimic you.
Right.
And, Ron is sitting like this, and I go, you're taking it away from the personality part of it by trying.
Okay.
You have a different personality than I have. Okay, I will try to match as much as possible the way that you speak, the way that you look, body language, eye contact, handshake. Those are the things that are important. Don't freak out over the answers. Obviously, you have to be prepared with some answers, and we can address that a little bit down the road in that. Okay, any other questions?
How should we prepare for the interview?
Okay, the first thing that you have to understand is, remember our resume writing segment?
Yes.
When we talked about targeted resumes, how to master applicant tracking systems. When you have saved your resume, like we ask in the organizing your job search segment,
Right.
okay, we ask you to open up a new folder on your desktops, and then for every job that you apply, you have to have a separate resume which is targeted to that job. And in those folders, you're going to put a copy of the job description also. So you need to start off from there.
Okay.
When you get the call for the interview, pull out the job description, reformat your resume now for a human being to look at. That means putting back the bullets, putting back the indents, all of those things that you and I are more used to seeing.
Right.
Read the job description. Make yourself thoroughly familiar with what is the need of the employer.
Okay.
And then you will be in a much better position to go in and answer every question to the point.
That's great.
So what should we do during the interview?
Well, during the interview is going to be, again, very critical, but coming back a little bit more to, on your point, sorry, let me get back to what Ron was asking. Before the interview, you need to do a couple more things, folks. Make sure that you are going to be going by the interview site, wherever the interview is, a day before at the same time as the interview. You know, drive by there, see what are the traffic patterns. Don't depend on your GPS to say, oh, it only takes 15 minutes or 30 minutes to go to that location. And you need to have like 2 or 3 different routes mapped out. You need to get there at least 15 minutes early. Call up the person, send an email, say, hey Bob, if I run late, where do I call you? What number should I call you at?
Okay.
Okay, if you call any office now which has a big switchboard, I mean, you'll be going around forever in the queue before you land up with the right person. So these are some of the fundamental things that you have to do. Make sure that you are carrying a change of clothes with you. Okay. If you stop by for a cup of coffee on the way and you spill coffee on your shirt or your jacket, that's not going to look too good in the interview. So all of these things you have to do before.
Right.
Read the job description, print out copies, and take multiple copies with you. You don't know how many people are going to be there, right?
Right. Right.
With you to the interview. Make sure that you drive by a day before. Make sure you ask them, how should I contact you? Make sure that you are also going to be asking which building, which, room the interview is going to be in. These are all important things. There's nothing so bad as being late for an interview.
Right.
So now, what was your question?
So what do we do during the interview?
During the interview? Okay. Comfort, confidence. People talk about the 3 Ps, prepare, 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 right? I say the 2 Cs also along with that. You need to be comfortable in your own skin. And that comes in, again, with preparation.
Right.
If you're not prepared, I'll give you an example. I'll give you a little story. My daughters used to go to downtown, Roosevelt and Loyola University, and we lived in the suburbs of Chicago at that time. And my kids would come over on the weekends. And Monday morning, I would drop them off at the train station in Rosemont. Early in the morning, about 7:30. So this is in January one year. I'm there at the train station, and I'm coming out. It is snowing like crazy. And right at the train station, at the intersection over there, the traffic signal on the opposite side, on the west side, there is a fire station. And I saw these 2 fire engines. They are pulled out. Their ladders are extended, and people are climbing up and down those ladders. I look at that and I go, are these guys crazy? Why are they not sitting in the station out there and having a hot cup of cocoa or coffee, right?
Right.
Then suddenly that thing clicks in my mind, that these guys are practicing how to put out a fire under those conditions. Now, think about a typical job seeker. So you have spent all your time and your effort, and for those of you, quote unquote, who go to professional resume writers, which I don't recommend. But let us assume that worked and you have the call for the interview, and someone told you that, oh, your shoes have to be shined and polished. Excuse me? Yeah, those are good. Okay, polish your shoes. I'm not saying don't polish your shoes, but polish your presentation, which is much more important than polishing your shoes. So the more you do that, the better off you're going to be in the interview.
Okay. Mauro, what should we do after the interview?
After the interview, the most important thing, is, again, our Vice President of Business Outreach, Dan, in Michigan, sent an email out to me the other day that he was talking to an employer, and the employer was, again, emphasizing the importance of the thank you note. A lot of the people that are interviewing out there do not send a thank you note.
Okay.
In fact, research is telling us again that only 21% of the job seekers are sending thank you notes. 21%. Just think about it.
Wow.
Okay. So my recommendation, first off, ask the people that you're interviewing with, ask them for their business cards.
Okay.
Bob, how do I get in touch with you? Can I have your business card? Ron, may I have your business card, please? Take those cards and email out a thank you note. But before you even send an email, carry a stack of printed thank you notes with you. You can go to any dollar store and buy like a pack of 10 or 12 for $1. You know, and just write a thank you note. Dear Mr. Weber, thank you very much. I enjoyed our meeting. I'm looking forward to joining your team. Mohammed Fahim. Simple. You are already assuming that you will be joining the team. The wordings are very critical in here. And we will have more information on our website. So please do come and visit the website, www.cfss.us. Sign up for our newsletter. You can subscribe to the newsletter. The subscription is free. If you want to subscribe as a subscriber to this website, there is going to be a small charge for that, and we can tell you what the charge is on the website, minimum charge. But you can get a lot more information than you would from people who really don't know what they are talking about. That is what burns me up. Is you get a lot of these advisors, consultants, people who are so eager to help you, who have never really interacted with an employer recently. The key word is recently. So you may have been a human resource professional the last 30 years, but that market, that entire game has changed. So you have to talk to people who are interacting directly on a day-to-day basis with employers, and I'm still doing it. So that's where I get my information from, as to what floats the boat of the potential employer. So coming back again, thank yous, extremely important. Follow-up is another thing. How many of you follow up after 30 days? Remember, there's only one job out there, right? One or two openings. And the employer, poor person, has to wade through 20 people, 30 people, 40 people. But there's only one. I'll show you a trick if you come to our seminar as to how you can create a job that is not there if you have impressed the interviewer enough.
Great.
Okay? Great.
Any other questions, guys? Come on.
Well, the only other question I have is, when do you follow up? A week or two later, or do you wait for them to call because they never call?
I will follow up a week later at the most. And when you leave the interview, you're going to be asking, what is the process? When should I hear from you? When do I expect to hear from you? Week later, follow up with an email, phone call.
So is it okay when you're ending the interview to say, is it all right if I call you a week from now if I don't hear from you? Is that a good way to
Absolutely.
end it?
I would. I would.
Because now you have their permission to call them.
And then 30 days later, follow up, even if you have not got the job. Maybe they hired someone and that person didn't work out. We have had that work happen in our office. We had a person come in that we had hired. She came in for 1 day. Next day she said, this is not what I thought the job would be. Okay. So we're back to the
that
drawing board
happens
now.
too.
It happens. So sometimes you have a probationary period of 90 days. So the person may not work out in 90 days. Could be anything, right? But if you have made it to the interview, you're already on third base. So don't shirk from trying to score that run. You're already there. You're still looking for other jobs and all that, but keep on following up with that employer. And if they have been impressed enough with you, the other thing that I really like to ask, Ron, do you mind if I send a request to connect on LinkedIn? I want to keep following as to what you guys are doing. I'm really, really interested in the company, in you. Okay, in your mission, in your vision. I mean, you have to sell yourself that you really want to be a part of that team. Okay.
Mohammed, thank you. That was all great information. Thank you for watching CFSS TV. I'm Ron Weber with Mohammed Fahim and Bob Johnson.